Guys, April Melvin here. And have you felt in your Christian calling like you're alone? Like you have no one to talk to and you don't know what the next steps are and you just need help? Well, stay tuned because this video is going to tell you one of my best resources that totally helped me out. So guys, this is my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys would, please feel free to subscribe, give it a like and a share. Let me know that you guys are here. Today we are going to be talking about what the heck is a Christian ministry coach and the 5 reasons why, if God's called you into a big calling, you absolutely need one. A little bit of background: about 3 years ago, I stumbled upon, and it truly was a stumbling upon, my Christian ministry coach, RJ. Her website is actually in the description, so please feel free to check her website out. I walked into work one day. It was so heavy. There was this heaviness that was upon me. I think that's the best way to describe it. And I felt like I couldn't breathe. And so I Googled Christian ministry coaches. I really didn't know what I was going to find. And I came across RJ's website. I set up an appointment with her, and the minute that she started speaking, it felt like my spirit exhaled. Like, she asked me probably the simplest, but yet the most important question. And it was just, well, what do you feel that God's called you to do? And I told her, and she didn't laugh, and she didn't make me feel weird, and she didn't make me feel crazy. And so, I mean, I just can't tell you, these last 3 years, I owe a lot to the weekly calls, that coaching that she puts in every single week. We talk about everything from my goals to what's going on, what's bothering me, the whole gamut. So having her has been instrumental. So a Christian coach is just that. They're your coach. They hold you accountable. They push you. They ask you the tough questions that your friends probably don't feel comfortable asking, and your husband certainly knows better than to ask. They are not just honest with you, but they ask you to explore in some of the depths of your emotions, to discover the answers for yourselves, which make it so much more meaningful and impactful. So I cannot talk enough about what she has done for me personally, but I am going to outline the 5 reasons why, if God has called you into something big, you need to, at the end of this video, please wait till the end, Google Christian ministry coach and find your own. It is reason number 1. You need somebody to hold you accountable. Whether it is a personal goal or a work goal or your ministry goals, especially when they're big, they are just better when you've got somebody cheering you on, holding you accountable. When you say, I'm going to do X thing by this date, a Christian ministry coach holds you to that. At the end of every single one of my coaching calls, RJ asks me, April, what are your next steps? In other words, what are you going to do this week? And then she checks back with me. Are you doing those things? Did you complete them? Why didn't you complete them if you didn't complete them? And it's so interesting because it feels great when I show up to a coaching call and I have checked my boxes. I am a box checker. I love that feeling. And just knowing that I accomplished what I said I was going to, that feels great. But I will say that on the calls where I haven't checked all the boxes, I haven't made the progress that I wanted to do, that's when that coaching is so impactful, because she asks the tough question of why? Why didn't you get this done? And I can't give her my my BS reason. You know what I mean? Like I have to be honest with her. And it is in that moment of honesty that I uncover a whole lot of emotions, right? And that is so important for growth. I've battled this last 3 year a lot of imposter syndrome, and that's come up a lot in times where I haven't done what I wanted to do. I haven't accomplished the thing. And part of the reason why I didn't accomplish it is because I was battling that imposter syndrome, or, maybe I thought that I needed to do this thing, but then this other thing came up. And so that accountability, that weekly check-in, knowing that someone's going to look over my shoulder, guys, you get that with a Christian ministry coach. That's really hard for your friends and family to do. In fact, I'm going to be honest here. It's not fair for you to expect them in that role. I have some fantastic friends and family near me that do the best they can in holding me accountable, but it is hard to hold people accountable to do those things, especially the really tough things. So having that Christian ministry coach who does that for you, does that for all of their clients, knows how to uncover those pitfalls and the trials and get you to think about the why and the how. Guys, that is so important. They are your personal trainers for accountability. And believe me, when God's called you to something big, you absolutely need that level of accountability in your life. All right, reason number 2. And I am going to share this resource in one of the next videos in February. It is one of my favorite resources from RJ. But in this calling journey, you will have to learn some lessons. In fact, you'll have to learn a lot of lessons. In fact, I feel like for the last 3 years, all I have been doing is learning lessons. And every time I think, I can't possibly learn anything more, God shows me another lesson. And so what a Christian ministry coach does, guys, is it helps you process those lessons. When those trials come up, because that is the purpose of trials. We read about that in James and several other chapters I don't like to remember, but we read about that the trial is for the perfecting of our faith. And so when these trials come up, it is so nice to sit down with someone like a Christian ministry coach and really examine, okay, what are the lessons, April, that you can learn from this? Okay, April, what do you think God's trying to teach you here? I have been battling something for several months right now. And, I think one of the things that God's been trying to teach me in that is that I don't have to address everything that I see, that I can pull an Elsa and let some things go. And I really uncovered that working with my Christian ministry coach, talking about what happened, some of the feelings, processing them with her. Guys, it's been so helpful. And we need to learn those lessons because those lessons are going to help us in our future calling. They're going to be instrumental to make us more effective leaders in whatever field that God's called us into. So having that Christian ministry coach to unpack some of that stuff with, guys, it has been so incredible. I cannot tell you over the last 3 years how many lessons that RJ's helped me walk. All right, reason number 3, why you need a Christian ministry coach. Guys, you're going to feel a lot of emotions. This journey, this call that God has placed on your life is going to bring up a whole lot of stuff. And it does that because there are lessons that you need to learn from it. But those emotions, guys, are going to, they're going to come up and they're going to feel overwhelming. I have had that imposter syndrome that I talked about in reason number 1. Guys, that has been paralyzing at times. And I haven't known what to do. And so one of the things that RJ has done for me, not just unpacking and processing it, but also encouraging me, reminding me that, April, if God put this desire in your heart, that is not an accident, right? If God placed this urge, this passion within you, it's because he wants you to pursue it. That God has uniquely gifted you and he's for you, and he is a God that loves you with this incredible love. And guys, that encouragement in those moments when you are walking in some of these emotions is so important. And that's exactly what a Christian ministry coach does. And I understand, and I do have some fantastic friends and wonderful supportive family. I mean, heck, I think my husband is one of the most supportive people on the planet. But some of these emotions, they're just not really going to understand. And while they're certainly encouraging, a Christian ministry coach, guys, they're taught, they take classes and they have certifications to be able to specifically encourage you and drive you and direct you in these moments. They're trained to do this, right? Just like a football coach, would see the potential in a player, and that coach is trained to pull that out. Well, a Christian ministry coach is the same. And so they really help you take those emotions and provide that encouragement that you'll need along the way. All right, reason number 4 why you need a Christian ministry coach. The issues that you'll be facing. And I'm not talking about the lessons or the emotions. I'm talking about the nitty gritty, like details that you will be going through are just going to seem weird to everyone else. Whining about building a website. Most of your friends are not going to understand why that's a big deal. Being frustrated because you can't figure out the Facebook algorithm. That's my husband doesn't know what to do with that, right? So sitting down and talking with that Christian ministry coach, a lot of what we'll talk about is the lessons and the emotions, but we'll also talk about the how-to, the planning. What are some next steps, right? She helps me brainstorm. She helps me think outside of myself to think, okay, what else could be possible? She helps me goal set. She helps me dream. And guys, these are things that most people in your life, as awesome as they are, it's just gonna seem weird to them. And they're probably not equipped to walk that with you. Whereas a Christian ministry coach, guys, this is specifically what they're trained to do. And not only that, but they've got lots of other people that they're coaching in that. So, they're in it. They're going to have suggestions. I can't tell you how many books RJ has suggested that I read, or how many blog articles she sent me to read, or YouTube videos she's pointed me to. So they help with the resources, the planning, all of that stuff that you're going to have to be doing in a big call that just sometimes can feel overwhelming, and heck, you just need to vent, right? Well, your Christian ministry coach is perfect for that. Reason number 5 why you need a Christian ministry coach. And guys, I think this is probably one of the most important reasons, and I'm putting a little disclaimer here. This one is going to sound really harsh, and I do not in any way mean it to be, but the reason why you need a Christian ministry coach, especially when God's called you into something big, the people around you are going to have a really hard time believing it. And again, my disclaimer, I don't want to sound harsh. I'm not picking on your friends and your family, but seriously, guys, and think about it. When God calls you to do something big, before your friends and family are going to get on board, they're going to want to see some evidence. And I think that that's usually coming from a place of genuine love and concern for you. They don't want to encourage you to do something that's going to put yourself out there and potentially get you hurt or face rejection. And so I think it is coming from a place of love and protection. And that's why you need that Christian ministry coach, because they know what this looks like. They've walked this with other people. They've been trained to deal with this. And so when you're in those early stages and God's put this calling in your life, and the people around you, they really don't get it or know that Christian ministry coach is there as that constant reminder of, no, God does call people to do big things. Like, God does have big plans for our lives, and it's okay that he has big plans. Your friends may not get it for years. Your husband, I know I love my husband and he says he gets it, but he does not get it. They may not get it for years, and guys, that's okay. God gave this calling to you. He didn't give the memo to everyone around you that he did it. He gave the calling to you. And having that Christian ministry coach, it's taken me 3 years, but I'm finally getting to the place where I have enough courage that I don't need my friends and family to validate God's calling in my life, that I have the boldness to step up and say, look, I don't know why he called me, but this is the call he has placed in my life, and I'm going to passionately pursue it. I don't know where it's going. I don't know what it's going to look like at the end, but I know I'm going to be obedient to it. That's from working consistently with RJ to process that and go through that. And I know at one point I realized this year that I wasn't being very bold and vocal, that I was just I equated it to, I was like Noah building the ark, but I was building the ark in the shed. I wasn't building it on the front lawn. Like I was chipping away at stuff, but I was doing it quietly and covertly because I didn't want anybody to know. But this year I have been pushing myself to set that ark on the lawn and to be bold about what God's called me to be. But guys, I can tell you that 3 years ago, I was not there, and it was RJ that helped give me the courage. It was the Holy Spirit working through RJ to give me some of that courage and that boldness to do it. Had I waited for my friends and family to confirm my calling, I would not have moved. Guys, if you are waiting for your friends and family to fall in line and agree with God on what he's called you to do, you're going to be waiting a very long time. And I don't mean to pick on your friends and family. That's just the nature of the beast. I'm sure Noah's neighbors thought he was crazy for building the boat. And not that I'm equating myself to Noah, but it's that same idea. Guys, you have to have that person outside who is professional, who knows, who understands what you're going through to help give you that encouragement. Because as awesome as the people that God's placed in your life are, and they truly are gifts, they're probably not going to get it. So that has been the biggest reason for me, is having that outside encouragement. I really needed that in the early stages and still do of my ministry. So that's reason number 5, why having a Christian coach, again, I think it's the most important one, is something that you need to do. And guys, I really appreciate you for watching this video. If you got anything from it, guys, please feel free to like it, share it, please subscribe and sign up for notifications. You could also check us out. We are on Mighty Mamas. I'll put the link in the description below. It's a Facebook community group where we just talk about Jesus and we do morning devotions together. It's a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much. And I will see you next Friday. And we will be discussing one of the first lessons that I had to learn in my calling journey. And it's a doozy. So I will see you guys next Friday. Thanks.